to include the clock. So we're going to make a clock that will go in our room, and we're doing that in another file. So for right now, I am going to move this out of the way and make a new file and call it, I need to name the other one too. Let's delete the person standing there, and then I want to go into bird's eye. Choose the polygon tool, the triangle, and then we're going to change this to a 12 side. I've practiced once before I made this video, so mine is already 12. If you don't see 12 down there, just know that you have to type in the number and press enter. So for instance, if I went to 6 sides, that's what it would look like. I want to come back to 12, press enter, and then I'm going to draw it. Okay, so there is the face of the clock, and I want to color my clock with wood. Okay, so it's going to have wood, and actually my clock is going to have a little stone material on it too. Once I have that, I'm going to choose the surface and use offset to make a slightly smaller area inside, and I want to pull this up. Okay, and I do want to color this differently, so let's see, let's deselect, and I'm going to come to, for mine, and this is up to you, stone. I like this particular pattern, I believe. Let's see, what is this one called? That's, oh no, I don't like that one. That's the pavers. This is marble. So I want this to be marble. And I'm going to go ahead and close this so I can pour that. But I'm not crazy about the color. So now I'll come into colors and model. And that actually does have textures as well, and double click to edit that, and then from here choose the crayons, and then I can just kind of experiment with a different color for that, and for me those are just way too colorful, and I'm going to choose a nice gray face. Okay, so I want to see this face on like that, and the next thing I'm going to do is draw a rectangle. Not a large one, just a small rectangle here, and I'm going to paint it white. That's fine, the size is fine. You can move this if it's not exactly in the right place. And then let's give it a little bit of depth. Use push-pull to pull it up just slightly. See now. Okay, I think I'm going to edit this. Okay, there we go. All right. So I think you know what I'm going to do is rotate this, use this to make 12 boxes for the 12 numbers on a clock face. So I select it, and I'm going to hover here on an endpoint so I can find the center, click once, and then I'm going to use the Alt key so I can get 2 copies. I'm going to click once here at this endpoint. This is actually pretty important when you're working with these hexagonal shapes where you want a certain number of shapes in. And then 11x. Just make sure that you're actually hitting those endpoints so it's going to line up correctly. And that's really all you need to do for the clock. The last thing we're going to do is make it into a component. So select it all, right click, and we're going to make it into a component, and I'm going to call this one clock. And glue again to any, okay, and we don't need to cut open. That's only for Windows, so create. I'm also going to save this file just to be on the safe side. Call it clock. Okay. And now I'm going to put this one away, and bring this back. Now, I have not modeled very good behavior here because it's really important to save your SketchUp files early and save them often. So I'm going to name this as my room. I haven't given it a name yet. And I want to show you on SketchUp that there's actually something built in to help you if your program crashes. If you go to General, it has an autosave. You can turn this down to, I would say, as little as 2 minutes, and it saves backup files for you. You don't want to turn it down below 2 minutes because it can be really annoying too. Okay, so this is saved, and the important thing to know that only starts working if you have given your file a name. So you have to save it in the beginning, and then that autosave will be on. Okay, so now I want to import the clock. I'm going to click Import, and then I need to find the file on my desktop, and here it is. So Import, and that will bring in that clock just like a and right now this one is not pasting to the sides. Should have gone to any face. Should be that I can actually put it along. I lost it. Okay, let's see, let's do this again. So File, and I'm going to import, and you should actually be able to bring this up on a face and have it change. Well, let's see if we can rotate it. If we can't do it that way, let's see if we can do it this way. And we should, okay. I thought that was set to glue to any. If it is, then it's much easier to work with, but you can also rotate it. Now, it's just huge. It's got to be smaller. And I'm going to scale it down. Very easy to do. And just get a lot smaller, and then I bring it into your model. And then find the face where you want it. It'll be, and again, you might have to work with scaling it down. Now this is a real kind of hassle, this one. And I do think that it was something in how I set up the component. But I'm going to do this, and then in class I'll make sure that I correct whatever error I've made here. So I just come in and scale it the way you want it. Make sure it's in the position. Okay, looks pretty good. Except we need to bring it out from the wall just a bit. But on the wall, we don't want it sinking into the wall. Okay, so that's the room, and that's the clock. And then go ahead and place in other components that you might like. If you want to draw in this one corner that's missing, it's real easy. I'd place all the components before you do that because it's so much easier to get them in when you don't have that wall. So just use inference. And you might have to go and redraw a couple points to get the wall, but it's there, and then fill it in to match. Okay, good. So, room with clock on wall now. All right. There.